Hi there once again, I'm about to do another game review, but before I do that game review I just want to mention that I am going to be at Play Blackpool this weekend, which is obviously in Blackpool at the Norbrett Castle from the 2nd to the 4th of May, so that's the whole bank holiday weekend. I'll be helping out with the Classic Gaming Championships at that event, so if you're going to Play Blackpool do pop along and say hello if you get the chance. Also, some of the guys from Retro and Lim will be hosting a live sort of podcast at the show, so if you get the chance to check that out you should definitely do so and see what they've got to say for themselves. So now on with my latest game review, and the game I'm going to look at is a Sega Saturn game, only released in Japan, was also released for the PlayStation in Japan, and it's a spin-off from the Ghouls'n Goblins series. It's Nazomakaimura, loosely translated as Puzzle Ghosts and Goblins, and let's take a look at the fact file for that game now. So the full name of the game is Author to Astaroth no Nazomakaimura Incredible Toons, bit of a mouthful. Released in 1996, as I mentioned, only in Japan for the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. Published by Capcom, but developed by a number of companies. Capcom had a hand in it. Also a company called Dynamics, who actually created the game engine for this Incredible Toons. They did a game called Sid and Al's Incredible Toons, which in itself was based on another game by Dynamics called The Incredible Machine. There's also a company called Magical Formation involved in the development of this game. Price paid by myself for this several years ago. One of the first Japanese games I bought for the Saturn, in fact, was £13.65. Current going rate for the game on eBay is £25 to £30, so the price has gone up a little bit, although not many copies seem to sell at that price, so you may be able to get cheaper copies if you hang on for a while. That's the game in stats. Let's take a look at the game in real life. We're going to take a look at the packaging, take a look at the various game modes, and see if we can get involved in some of these incredible tunes. So here's the CD box. As you can see, got the Sega Saturn logo down the left hand side, and a nice comical picture of Arthur and Astaroth, the antagonist and protagonist of Ghouls'n Goblins, and the red Arima, all done in a sort of cartoony style. And at the bottom there you can see it says Nazomakaimura Incredible Toons. And on the back we've got a couple of screenshots. We'll see the game shortly, so no point dwelling on those. And we've got those cartoony characters again, lots of Chinese writing that I can't read. Probably says something like, this is a game similar to Ghosts and Goblins but with puzzles, or something along those lines. Who knows? And that's pretty much it, just a bit of copyright information. Tells you how many players it's for, which is 1, and that's about that. So let's take a look at the instruction manual in a bit more detail. Lots of nice artwork in this. So you can see the contents page there with Arthur on it. And here's the controls section, which you can see you can use a pad, or if you've got one, you can use a Sega Saturn mouse, which I haven't got, so I won't be using. And you can see the princess there and Arthur and Astaroth looking a bit more jovial than usual. And it goes on, obviously it's all in Japanese so I can't read the writing, but it's got some more screenshots in there, and yet more screenshots telling you how to play the game, which I will go through when we start playing the game itself. Just keep leafing through this a little bit. Tells you some of the options for when you're selecting objects. More stuff about the in-game menu. Very big booklet actually. Lots more stuff about options. Lots and lots of screenshots within the booklet. And yet more screenshots. And on it goes, and there's some more artwork at the back there. So you've got Arthur, Astaroth, some of the other characters, the red Arima. There's a cartoony version of the end of level boss from Ghouls and Ghosts from the first level. A little sort of fire demon thing. There's a big bug on a bomb there. Another character, not sure who he is. There's a cloud with an eye. This is basically explaining all the different objects in the game. There's a treasure chest, a bomb with a smiley face on, a chest with like a tentacle in it, a little castle, rubber band, Basically you have to put all these objects together. Here's some pictures from the in-game graphics. Put all these objects together to make various machines and devices to complete each level. That much will become clear when I start playing the game anyway, so I'm not giving much away there. So there's a list of all the objects, and finally we get to the back of the booklet, and one more picture on the back of Arthur looking a bit grumpy with his arms folded there. So here's the title screen of the game. As you can see, it's not taking itself too seriously with that little tune it played at the beginning. And you can see at the bottom there the copyright 1994 Dynamics, who did the main game engine for this game, and of course the Capcom copyright because it's all Ghosts and Goblins themed. Not much more to say about the title screen. It does then go into a demo of how to play the game, but we don't really need to see that, do we? So let's start the game properly. You've got the option to load data from a memory card or the internal memory. There isn't any of that for me to load, so let's just get on with the game. And you get this little intro to the game itself with some familiar looking characters there. Red Arima coming to have a chat with Astaroth, who gets sent off to do some naughty deeds. Here he is. I think we can all guess what's about to happen here. It's basically the same plot as any other Ghosts and Goblins game. The princess has been taken away and Arthur's got to rescue her. But that's where the similarity ends. As you'll see in a moment, the game is now loading. And the first level starts and it gives you some instructions of what you've got to do on the level, I presume, because I can't read any of that, of course. So let's get on with the game. So basically the idea of each level is to complete some kind of action, which is usually to either kill Astaroth, sometimes you kill Arthur, or sometimes you've got to get one of the two characters to actually pick up some kind of an item. So pretty much what I'm going to do is complete the first level to show you how it all works. So the first thing to do is place this ball, and then you can actually start a level at any point and see how your progress in the level is going. So I'm just going to press start. Clearly that didn't work very well, the ball's dropped in the wrong place, and now Arthur's tapping his foot because I've basically done something wrong, he's bored. So didn't position that very well, so first things first, let's pick that up and move it a bit further down. Play the level through again. You see the ball rolling down there, but then it's gone off, and again Arthur's not very happy. So that's because I probably need to use this piece. Well, I know I need to, in fact. So place that in the middle there. Once you've placed an item, you can click on it again and perform various actions with it, one of which is to switch it the other way around, which isn't going to serve a lot of purpose in this, you can probably tell. You can also resize it, which is the key for completing this level. So I've now created a platform that goes all the way over to where Astaroth is standing, and if I press start, you can also start the puzzle off by clicking on the start thing there. There you go. Astaroth gets a bash on the head by the ball and the level is clear. Pretty simple. You can then either replay that level, go on to the next one, or save the game. I'll go on to the next level. You probably noticed the background music for the levels is remixes or various versions of the background music from the Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts franchise. So again, there's something else to be done on this level, and what you can do is start the level and see what happens before you place any particular objects. And Arthur's picked up an item, one of them has, and the other one's looking a bit upset at the top there. And that's because I need to place this object somewhere. I know where to place it because I've played through it before, of course. And this is an armour power-up, which attracts Arthur to run towards it. So if I press start now, there's another level complete. Basically all I need to do is turn that baddie from the end of the first level of Ghouls and Ghosts to turn around and pick up whatever that thing was that he was looking at. So that's another level complete. Again, this one's not too challenging either, so I'll just do it quite quickly. Sometimes a bit of trial and error involved, but to be honest, some of these early levels are fairly straightforward. You can make the cursor move faster, by the way, by holding down one of the shoulder buttons. There's also the option by pressing the top row of buttons on the Saturn controller to move the cursor into 3 different places. So let's get that level started, and again you'll see Arthur's attracted to the power-ups, but he actually goes up the ladders. Then he goes through this little door. And finally he picks the power-up there. And that's another level cleared. So you get the idea. At the moment it's pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing too challenging. We'll have a look at this one as well, just to play it before any objects are placed. Red arrow there obliterates Astaroth, but obviously there's something else to be done there. You can probably guess what's about to happen. Set another one of these off. Away we go. The earth get obliterated. And the level's complete. Pretty straightforward so far. They do get a little bit more challenging. You can obviously see something going on here. So if I press start on this one, you can see the skeleton in the casket there kicked a ball over and it did not very much. So again you can place one of these things over here. Somewhere like there I believe should do it. If I can remember this one rightly. Swap it round. Put the ball there. And see what happens. Not sure that went quite to plan. It's the first one I've got wrong. Let's give it another try. Can't exactly remember what happened here. Ah, no, I get it. I remember. I think what you actually got to do is place this here. The ball rolls down, hits the box, and then it kicks Astaroth off and he picks up the fish. I think that's got it right this time. It's looking more promising. There we go. So you can see the challenging gets a little bit more difficult as they move along, but still not particularly challenging. And after every few levels you get one of these little cutscenes. Astaroth's poking a bomb and blows himself up. And you see a nice little graphic in the background which serves no great purpose. Move on to the next level. And again, something else is going on. This one, something to do with catapults. You get the idea. What I'm going to do now is show something that I haven't shown so far, which is that you can activate this menu system, which gives options to load and save the game. That just repeats what you've got to do in the level, I think, which I can't obviously understand. There's control for sound. That resets the level, I think. Press on that. Obviously can't tell I've done anything there. And there's also something for the controls at the bottom there, which gives you a little bit more information. Oh yeah, you can move the cursor around slow or fast. But the one that's most interesting in the load and save menu, you can actually move to any of the levels in the game, pretty much all of them anyway. If I click on this, I think, you can see all those levels. Those are the ones I've completed, the first 5. These are all the ones that you can move to. There's also a second set, some of which at the bottom are locked, and a third set, which again some of them are locked, and that one's obviously double chained, which means I assume you can't play the last level until you've done all the preceding ones. And the good thing is you can actually select these levels as well. So if I select the middle set and then press number 1 there, press OK, it'll load another one in, which as you can probably tell is somewhat more challenging. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. There's all kinds of things going on, which I'm not sure how to complete. So I'm going to try and find a level that's reasonably difficult but not too difficult and show you how to complete one of those. And then there's one other aspect of the game which I haven't shown you yet, which I'll show at the end of the video. So this is level 25, I think, of the first set of stages. So I'm just gonna hide the menu again, and as you can see, it's a little bit more convoluted. We've got this weird sort of chest with a tongue in it, which is attached to some kind of pulley system. And well, let's just press the start button and see what happens when the level goes before I make any changes to it. Okay. So pretty straightforward there. It's thrown a treasure chest down, which Arthur's then gone to open, and then there's a demon comes out of it, which is from Ghouls and Ghosts. A wizard comes out of it and turns Arthur, puts him in a balloon, which then hits a spike, and he keeps getting hit with that repetitively. Obviously something else is required as well. So let's reset the level and drag our little tongue-filled treasure chest out there. Pick up the rubber band, which you can attach to various items. So if we attach it to there, you can then obviously drag the other end of it to attach to something else, which is quite clearly this somewhere. Doesn't like that for some reason. Okay, let's try again. Try attaching. Interesting. Obviously that needs to be positioned somewhere else, so I think you can undo that by just dropping it back in there. Let's try taking this a little bit closer. Don't know why it has to be so close, but obviously it does for some reason. There you go, gone green, and now that's set up the pulley system. And then let's grab another one of these things, whatever these things are. Drop that there as well. Let's give this a try now. Oh, well, that's not gone quite to plan, has it? Because it's sent the fish the wrong way. Sometimes not as easy as they first appear. So if I click on that, rotate it round, move it over there, move this over there, try that. Aha, there we go. Have to have him running the right direction in order to power the little conveyor belt, and sure enough, there's another level completed. So let's just have one look at the next one, see if this one's fairly straightforward to work out. Not at first glance. What happens if I press start? Not entirely obvious what's going on there, but clearly I'm supposed to get rid of Arthur in some way as well. Keep pressing the start button instead of the A button to reset the level. So I've got another one of these things. Oh, there's another pulley there. It must have to be attached to that somehow. Ah, okay. Oh, that's going somewhere else now. Where on earth do I put that? Not entirely obvious at the moment. Oh, hang on, I can attach it to that there. Okay, alright, that's extended the pulley system. So what happens now? Still not a lot. So obviously clearly this thing's required for something. I've never used one of these before, so just stick that there and see what happens. Hopefully that's in the right place. Seemingly not. Okay. Let's see what happens if we put it down here. Obviously it has to fall on that maybe. Try that. Ah, okay, it's kind of moving this pulley system, and for whatever reason now it's worked. Didn't quite catch what happened there. I think I'll replay that just to see what happened to Arthur. Ah, okay, right, now the pulley system's working. They're like firing darts out of these blue-headed creatures. Okay, so that's another one complete. And so it continues with more things going on. You get the idea. But there's one more aspect to the game. I'm not going to play through all like 90 levels obviously on this video. There's one more aspect to the game, which is if you switch to this mode by pressing on the house in the top corner there, you can actually create your own machines, which don't serve any purpose. There's nothing to complete, but you can just mess around and do whatever you like with them. So for example, I can create a platform, make it as wide as I like. Put Arthur on it. And then maybe attract him towards something. What's he like being attracted to? What's this down here? I think this is a piece of meat. So put that there. Start it off. Arthur eats the piece of meat. Throws it away. And that's the end of my very simplistic level. So what I'm going to do now is build a more complicated machine. Not quite sure exactly what as yet, but I'll come up with something, and then I'll obviously, when I've built it all and it works quite nicely, I'll restart the video and you can see what I've achieved. Okay, so here's my incredible machine created. A real mishmash of ladders, platforms, piles of meat to tempt Arthur along his path, and various other things. And if I press start right now, basically not a lot happens, because it's just missing one final thing, which is the bait to get Arthur moving. Ooh, so what I'm going to do is put this treasure chest on this platform here, and hopefully, if I've got everything right, that will tempt Arthur to start moving around, and you'll see how my machine all unfolds. So without further ado, here we go. And after all that, it gets enclosed in a bubble and sent off into space. So there you go, that's the kind of thing you can build if you've got the time and patience, and that's taken at least an hour's worth of messing around, trying to get all the various things interacting with one another. There's a lot of different objects that I haven't even started to use or even understand. So it's got almost infinite playability in terms of you can keep creating your own machines, perhaps even test other people to try and see if they can work out which bits do they need to add to make the contraptions work. It's got, as I mentioned, 90 built-in levels to work your way through as well, some of which will be very complicated when you can't work out exactly what the aim of them is, so there's quite a lot of trial and error involved. Pretty much that sums it up for the review, but what can I say other than it's a great theme with the Ghosts and Goblins theme. It's a great and challenging puzzle game, and to me it's definitely worth the money that I paid for it. It can be a bit frustrating at times when you're working out what you want to do, but overall there's lots of interesting stuff you can do, different ideas you can try out, so it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. Certainly one of the more curious entries in the Ghosts and Goblins series, and well worth checking out if you've got a Japanese Saturn or a PlayStation 1.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.